Welcome to the Living to 100 Club podcast. Here's our host, Dr. Joseph Casciani.
Good day to everyone. I'm Joe Casciani, your host for the Living to 100 Club podcast. Our conversations are all about aging well and doing what it takes mentally and physically to live longer and healthier. Our guests share insights and recommendations about successful aging, stories of perseverance, and inspiration about our future. Our guest today is Michele Blood. We're especially excited to have Michele join us today. Our guest shares with us her work on helping others transform their lives into a positive, true purpose and connect with our unique gifts. Michele was a successful rock singer in Australia, and after a near-fatal car accident, she created positive affirmation songs. These not only helped heal her body, but also took her to worldwide success. She has since worked with many notable transformational figures, including Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Jack Canfield, and Bob Proctor. We discussed the road she took to her own self-discovery and how she now works with tens of thousands around the world to experience what they say is impossible. Just a little background on Michele. Michele is a successful, multi-talented lady. She's created Magnet to Success products and seminars worldwide. And these seminars have been held in over 26 countries. Her largest audience was over 50,000 people in Kuala Lumpur. Michele has co-written and created over 80 books, audio programs, TV shows, videos on positive thought, mind transformation, meditation, and more. She's been very busy. After many years of meditation, Michele's Kundalini awakened and transformed her consciousness. She now teaches others how to live a mystical life and experience divine oneness, which is the true heart of genuine happiness, success, and purpose in one's life. Michele, welcome to our program.
Thank you, Joseph. I've been really looking forward to speaking with you. You're such a sweet man, lovely, lovely man.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. I've been looking forward to this as well. I always like to open by asking our guests to tell us a little bit about the background. You've had such a long and, positive, engaging, enriching journey. So tell us the highlights that brought you to where you are today.
Well, the highlights are pretty, a lot of highlights, actually. A lot of epiphanies and satoris and ahas. And I started singing from the age of 5 professionally. I was singing since the age of 2. My mother said I could sing all the lyrics on the radio before I could even speak properly. So I was destined to just be a singer. And the nuns, the Catholic nuns, used to love it because I would win all the school estates for them. I went on to create a lot of different bands until eventually in my very early 20s, I got together the best band members I could ever get. And we toured at one stage nonstop for 7 years, had great success in Australia. Wow. Videos, records, you name it, And what happened was I was living my best life as far as I was concerned. I was the lead singer, one of the main songwriters, the manager of the band. I worked so hard to get all the tours that we got a great agent. Yeah, no, it went for longer than 7, but at one stage we actually toured nonstop for 7 years, and worked with a lot of great American bands as well as their support act. And it was great. We're just about to get a record contract overseas as well. When I had a near-fatal car accident on my way home from a gig, I was with the truck driver and he fell asleep at the wheel. We'd been driving for 12 hours. And as the passenger, I was smashed with musical equipment, speakers, you name it. The damage to my body was unbelievable. Every month I would be surprised that I came through the next operation and the next operation. Wow. But that is really the highlight of when my whole trajectory of life shifted. And I realized, wow, this is something more to my life than being a rock singer or a rock star, whatever that is. And that's how my life turned 360 degrees around. And I realized that all of the gifts I've been given and all the experience for business, running a band, running a rock band is not easy. I often teach businesses, if you want to have success in your business, you've got to run your business like a successful rock band. Then nothing, you can never fail.
Yeah, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. So when you and I spoke earlier, you talked about being in the hospital and how you learned that the affirmations you were adopting were more effective when you would sing them. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I read a lot of books. Well, I didn't read them. People were just I couldn't move. I was on a steel-plated bed in traction, in agony. And people kept putting on these audio books to sort of get me into a more positive frame of mind, which is practically impossible when you are in physical agony. I'm not talking about pain. I mean, passing out every few minutes in agony. It's very, very hard to feel positive. So I would say to them, how in the buggery would you ever expect me to be positive? Turn these things off, but they wouldn't. And then one day I just got it. Napoleon Hill from his book was talking about his little infant son born deaf, and he did autosuggestion, affirmations. He would go into his little son's room every night and whisper, "You can hear perfectly." His son was born 100% deaf, by the way. "You can hear perfectly. You grow up to be such a strong man." I mean, every night for years. The little boy ended up getting 30% of his hearing by the time he was 4, but ended up being able to go to a normal hearing school and became a millionaire in the hearing aid industry.
Wow. I had not heard that story. That's a great story.
Yeah, it's in the book, Think and Grow Rich, in that chapter about his son. But anyway, so I didn't care about any of the other book. Who cared about multimillionaire men in the 1920s when I'm a young female rock singer in Australia? Who cares about that? Anyway, so something just clicked. You guys know when something just clicks within you from the marrow of your bone and you just know that what you have just read or heard about is true. It's truth. So I knew that I'd always use my willpower and my intention to create something. I knew I could never fail. There was something within my spirit that just knew I can do anything if I persist until I succeed, which I always did. And so I just knew if I do these affirmations, I'd be healed, even though the doctors and everyone were telling me I wouldn't be. However, it didn't work, Joseph. It didn't work. Do you want me to tell you why it didn't work?
Yes, please. Yes.
Because scientifically now, the studies on the mind, if your mind doubts the affirmation you're saying to yourself, because affirmations, a positive statement you say about yourself to yourself, it must be stated in the now as if it's already happened.
Yes.
And then they say you have to emotionalize it. You have to believe it. But how can everyone believe, hey, I'm a magnet to money when you're broke. I am healed when you're not healed. I am happy when you're miserable. How can you just keep saying it until you believe it? The doubting mind keeps spitting it out before it has a chance to be planted into the subconscious mind. So I gave up on it. I did an affirmation. I wrote, I am healed because I wasn't healed. I know I am. I didn't know I was. I love myself. I am my friend. I didn't love myself. I wasn't my friend. I was a little suicidal, but I couldn't move.
Yeah. So there's a gap there, right? Between where you are and where you want to be, or where the affirmation will take you. And sometimes that gap is so big, it's just not realistic, right? I mean, we try to close the gap with the affirmation of the positive thinking. So what was working for you? What did you find that worked?
Well, a month later, I had an epiphany, a true spiritual epiphany. I am a singer-songwriter. You can't get a jingle or a song out of your head. Advertising agencies spend billions a year. The little kids, I learnt my ABCs through singing them. And I said, I'll create a song, an affirmation song. But first of all, I asked some of my family and friends to go out to the record stores back in the day before the internet and find me some positive affirmation songs. And there wasn't any such thing, no such thing. So I just started singing. I put it onto a little cassette player. I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. And I kept singing it over and over again until this audio cassette was full. To make a long story short, that affirmation song immediately put me into a different vibration, just listening to it all day long. And I hadn't even done any music to it. So what was happening was, scientifically, John Hopkins, Berkeley, they've proven how this works now. It goes into your subconscious mind 300 times faster. You do not have to emotionalize it. It just goes straight in, because the left brain is the lyrics or the affirmation, and the right brain is the melody. And so it goes straight into your subconscious mind, and it starts building a new tree, because the mind can create great healing in the body. There are many things we have to do with our body to keep it great, but we also have to look after the mind. People do exercise, they have their coconut oil, they have their turmeric, they have their beautiful organic food, but they forget. They exercise, they forget about the mind. If you want your body and your life to be successful and healed, your mind must always be in a higher frequency, a higher state of vibration. And then miracles happen. Miracles literally happen. I've seen it happen all over the world to my students from all over the world. And that is how my new journey began.
Wow. So the two channels, the lyrics and the singing, they affect us, left brain, right brain, and collectively they have much more powerful impact on us than just reading or saying these statements. Fascinating. And now that's been confirmed. The research has shown that's what's happened, and that's what worked for you.
Yeah. And at that stage, that research had not been done. So, eventually I went on to great success globally, teaching about affirmations, creative visualization, and then eventually about deep meditation, because I find once you begin to oscillate, which is a speed, it's a vibration speed, it's a frequency, which is also fact now, which wasn't back then. You can feel it. It's like when you walk into a room and people have been arguing and you don't even know that room, you can feel it. Everyone can feel vibration. You're like, oh, I don't feel comfortable in this room. But if someone's just been in a room where people have been meditating and laughing, you can walk into that room and go, wow, I don't know what it is about this house, but I love it, because you can feel the vibration. It is a frequency that you tap into, and to be able to have that in your life, in your own life, and to begin to resonate. Once you resonate with a higher frequency, what you are seeking will be seeking you, whether it's purpose, healing, a partner, money, purpose in life, whatever it is, finding God in your life, finding what your soul's purpose is. You are vibrating, you resonate with everything that you're attracted to, no matter what it is something you've resonated with. So you don't blame people, places, or things if you are attracting crap into your life. You've got to realize I'm resonating with that particular negative thing. Oh my goodness, I've got to do something to be more positive. And so just listening to the music, these wonderful affirmation songs, I've got hundreds of them I've written for every area of your life, really, really, really works so powerfully, which is why promoters in Australia, hearing about my miraculous healing, had me tour with Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor, Louise Hay, Stuart Wilde, all these people I'd never even heard of, Joseph, never heard of. And every one of them, when I was touring with them, singing in between and talking about my healing, getting people up on the stage and up in their chairs, thousands of people singing the affirmation songs. So then all of these people, including Bob Proctor, wanted to work with me globally to put a different spin, a different sort of hip spin as well on their seminars that they did all over the world. So Bob Proctor was the one who really came on board, because he knows the mind. He was a very beautiful soul, very congruent with his teaching, and just so funny. Yeah. We ended up working together for years globally. Wow. And created many, many products together, which I'm really I'm not proud of them. I'm in love with them, because I can see how they change people's perspective and their life.
So are you saying, Michele, these songs, when we're doing this, the affirmation songs, that will change our resonance, that changes our frequency to kind of resonate with another level? Or is that what
it brings you up into a new frequency, just listening to it. And so do other songs. Like I Feel Good by James Brown is a great affirmation song. there are many songs that can build your frequency up straight away. But with these affirmation songs, they've been written particularly as an affirmation. I am healed. I am a miracle. So you're singing or listening to something and creating affirmations in your subconscious mind. You're not just singing shake, shake, shake your booty, which is making you feel good for a few minutes, even after the song. God bless you, Casey, the Sunshine Band. But it's actually something that is scientifically shifting the way you think and planting new positive thoughts, because it's, as I said, it's nearly impossible to shift your consciousness into a higher state of consciousness when you're resonating with a lower vibration. And it doesn't mean you're a negative person. It might just mean that you've been through stuff that makes you sad. That's not your fault. You have to lift yourself up out of it. But sometimes I like this saying, you've got to do it on your own, but you can't do it alone. We all are a tapestry working together. And when we can start working together in harmony with our minds, because studies have been proven that 80% of what people think is negative on most people, on the higher percentage of the world. They blame others, they start complaining, and they don't realize why they're doing it. They're doing it because they are in fear of not getting what they want, or not creating what it is, or losing what they want, or not getting what they want, whether it's healing, money, a person, trying to get over loss of loved ones. There's so many things that people are creating by focusing on what they don't want instead of what they do want. And, if you've got the blues, don't listen to the blues. That's been proven too. Look at the Berkeley studies on my website.
Be careful about the music we listen to.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Exactly. But Joseph, yes, it's a perfect starting point. And you can look at all the video testimonials on all my websites from people, from doctors, lawyers, dentists, homemakers, people with autistic children whose children had improved through the listening of the music. Because I've even got an album for children, self-esteem songs for kids, just for little baby kids, 4 and under, which is really working powerfully especially for autistic children, which I never knew that would happen.
Wow, sure. So, in terms of the older adult population, which is, the focus of my Living to 100 Club and Living Successfully, and I'm not surprised to hear you cite that 80% of people, have a lot of negative thoughts. And older adults have they struggle with a lot of challenges, of course, difficulties, hurdles, a lot of physical problems go on, and certain kinds of losses. So it's not uncommon to find this negative thinking and kind of blaming and fault finding either yourself or others. So what do you recommend? How can people get out of that, negative thinking mindset?
Well, I've got people from all walks of life and all ages. My mother's just turned 91, and she is amazing. She was divorced from my father, 50 years ago. But anyway, as a single person, she's always done things to help her feel creative and wonderful. She's just recently taken up painting. Yeah. She was a hairdresser. All these different things, dancing. She's always had a goal that she's working towards. And she's got a goal now to paint the perfect rose, And my father is turned 90 recently. And I think the reason why they both seem so young and amazing in their minds is because my father worked hard all his life. He went from poverty to becoming a multimillionaire through just sheer willpower. So I can see where I got it from. But, I've often spoken to my mother about her friends, and she said, they don't, she said, I go and visit them and they don't want to do anything. And see, Mum's always been into high nutrition as well. But one of the things that I do know that will help anyone who is getting older is to realize that you are immortal consciousness, and there's nothing to be afraid of, nothing at all to be afraid of. There's no such thing as death. You are just going into a new car like the movie Avatar. And when you get rid of your old bomb Volkswagen, you're not going to complain when you get a new Mercedes.
Sure.
So reincarnation really is true, and I've experienced and seen it. And also, one of the things that you can do, and anyone can do at any age, and it takes effort, but it's something that will really change your life. Whenever you hear yourself in your mind or out loud complaining about anything or somebody, you stop immediately. You stop and you say, why am I complaining? I must be afraid of something. I've got to get myself away from complaining. I'm complaining about someone I don't even know. It's from People magazine. I don't even know if that person's horrible or nice. And I'm saying, what a terrible person to do that to Angelina Jolie. It's like, just finding someone or something to complain about. Oh, this food sucks. Or, this person was really horrible. That movie wasn't good. I'm going to give it 1 star and say how sucky it was. When you feel yourself really going down a rabbit hole of complaining, stop in the middle of complaining and just say, no, that's not true. I'm going to say thank you for my beautiful life instead of complaining today. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to shift that one thing in my consciousness and maybe put on some of my affirmation songs. My latest album, Create Miracles, Powerful Affirmation Songs to Harmonize Your Life, are beautiful, like soft melodies and everything, and will just help you go to sleep beautifully and help you have a more positive good night's sleep. What we're going to give you is The Magic of Affirmation Power, which is a beautiful book that can just very, very, I always say keep it simple and spiritual. To me, it doesn't make any difference what the age of a person is, what their culture is. I've worked in over 32 countries from people from all walks of life, from all different ages, and anyone can change their mind to the positive, even just doing something like stopping to complain. And I am really, really grateful for my beautiful, beautiful life. Okay, I got it. Michele Blood, Michele, BLOOD.com/living to 100.
Oh, perfect.
And they're going to get the Magic of Affirmation Power book. They're going to get some of my most powerful affirmation songs just to listen to.
Wow.
They're going to get a video called The Practice of Meditation. And even if they haven't done it before, they can do it lying down. If they can't get up, they can just listen to my voice. They can listen to my beautiful, soft, creative visualization program for them to listen to as they're going to sleep, which helps them release pain from their body and relax their entire body so that they get a good night's sleep. Because as we get older, we really need to be able to sleep deeply without taking a lot of drugs. And people just say that one has helped them greatly to sleep deeply, deeply, deeply. And there's a few other products there as well that they may like or
those
they may not.
Those are lovely gifts. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to pass that on to our listeners. I'll put
it's all
that
free
in your show notes. Yeah, that's great. So that's your latest book, The Magic of Affirmation Power.
Yeah. And it's just a very, very simple book about my journey and the things that happened to me through visualizing, the healing that happened to me, how affirmations work, how simple it is, the science behind it, and, just a little simple few tools for learning how to practice meditation, learning how to breathe properly, because when you learn how to breathe properly, no matter what your age is, particularly as we get older, we don't breathe through both nostrils. And it's important to learn how to clear both nostrils and breathe deeply in through your nose. Hold it and just breathe out through your mouth. And because everyone is the same. Everyone has come to this planet to realize their inner self. Who am I? You don't need to know who you are. All you need to do is be grateful for the life that you've had. Think of everything that you've ever been able to think of that you can be thankful for, and you will have more things to be thankful for. It's not, the kids never visit me anymore, or, I'm lonely. No.
Yeah.
Think of all the good things that you've done, that you've created, and be proud of yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back for sure.
You bet. And we do need to recognize and appreciate what we've done, what we have, what people have given us, people have come into our lives, and it's easy to complain and find fault, but let's drop that and focus on the good things. Sure.
Yeah. And it's challenging too sometimes, but the way I teach is KISS, keep it simple and spiritual. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And then, people attempt to complicate the mind and how the mind works and, you've got to learn this and you've got to have me as a teacher and I'll charge you thousands of dollars because I'm the only one who can teach you. And they teach all this complicated, ridiculous, rubbishy BS.
Yeah.
And I'm just not like that because I know life is simple. And when we try to complicate it or understand it through the mind, it's just not going to work.
Yeah. That's also a good protection from allowing us to change too. We focus too much on trying to understand it and analyze it. It's a convenient way to not grow.
Yeah, because the mind is the problem. So the mind can't tell you how to fix itself because it doesn't know that there's something wrong with it.
So you've co-written over 80 books and the CDs and the audio programs, and you're doing the seminars and TV shows. So what drives you to make all these contributions, Michele?
Well, I think it's because I'm in this creative plane of life. I've had an awakening. I won't go into that now, but I think I've always just been driven to make people happy. Ever since I was a little girl, I could see when I sang, people would start smiling and laughing. I don't know if they were laughing at me, but anyway, as a little kid. And I just can't stop creating. And I think I'm 65 now, and I know that that's probably pretty young for some of your listeners, but I work out every day. I do Pilates every day. I saw the interview you did about Pilates. I just think I highly recommend Pilates. Yeah. It's amazing because when you do Pilates, instead of getting shorter as you get older, you stretch. And I'm only 5. And I'm only 5 foot, but I was 4'11.5". So obviously it works. And I eat well and I'll do anything to be irreverent. I want people to release suffering in their life, in every area of their life. This is what drives me, to get people to be happy. And I have these Zoom meetings with people from all over the world. And I know that I've assisted many of their parents and their grandparents, who aren't even part of it, but because they're part of the mystical experience, they asked me to do prayers and meditations for their loved ones if their loved ones are sick or anything. And it's helped greatly. Their loved ones don't need to know I'm praying for them. Yeah. I'm just doing it because I like doing it.
Yeah. Well, maybe I could persuade you to return and we can have a more lengthy talk about enlightenment and transforming consciousness. So that would be.
Well, I think it's really important for people to be fed these positive things as they get older. So I would love to do that, Joseph.
Great. That would be great. So your website, micheleblood.com.
/ living to 100. Right. That's all they need.
That's for our page. But what will people find when they get to your website? What do visitors see? You have live streaming events.
Yeah, we have live streaming events. And at the moment, I'm just about to do, if you go to requestdivinelight.com, I'm just about to do 60, which I've never done before, 60 days of light transmissions. And I can, if I come on again, I can explain what that is. But on requestdivinelight.com, I have a video of myself talking about and explaining what a light transmission is and what my prayers do for people's consciousness and bodies.
Well, we just touched the surface. I know. We just touched the surface. There's so much, such creative energy, beautiful energy. So what would you like our listeners to take away from our conversation today?
I just want them to know that even if they feel lonely or they're on their own, they are not alone. There is a divine presence. I don't care if you're Hindu. I don't care what your religion is, Catholic, Christian. There is one divine presence that is real. It created you. It loves you. You are never alone. If you can just simply say as many times a day, thank you, divine, for my beautiful life. Thank you, divine, for my beautiful life. That is your higher self. And you can speak to that and speak to it. Speak to every cell of your being. Every cell of your being is divine consciousness, and say, you just imagine your little cells are like big smiley faces, giggling and happy. Mm-hmm. You can get out of any sort of illness by speaking to the cells of your body and imagining them laughing and giggling and high-fiving each other. And as they high-five each other, they're becoming filled with light, and they're happy and they're becoming healthy. And it really, really works.
Yeah. Wow. Our cells are intelligent. I mean, that's
They
what I'm learning.
they are pure consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great recommendations. Great thoughts here. So it looks like we're out of time, but before we wrap up, Michele, I just want to remind our listeners to visit my website, livingto100.club, sign up for my email list to download a free copy of my 9 tips to make living longer enjoyable. And while you're on the website, be sure to peruse the library of blogs and podcasts. And you'll also find my email address there and an option to set up a brief call if you'd like. I always like to hear people's thoughts about my episode, so let me know what you're thinking. And finally, if you're interested, reach out to me to schedule a presentation for your group in person or online. I think there's real value in helping older adults feel inspired about their future. Michele, thanks so much for being a guest on our show today. For those that might want to contact you, they can reach you through your website.
Yeah. And Joseph, thank you for what you're doing. And you guys, just really listen to Joseph and speak to the people. See if whenever he can do a presentation for you. You are very blessed to be in his presence. He's just an awesome soul.
Very kind of you. Thank you. And thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in. Hope to see you next time.
Hi, everyone. This is Meredith from the Senior Fitness with Meredith podcast, where I discuss all things for seniors, from fitness, your health and wellness journeys, how to be all over strong and beyond. I also have my mini podcast called Motivation with Meredith. It's a great, quick motivational pick-me-up for your days. Join me, listen now, search for Senior Fitness with Meredith on your favorite podcast platform.